Story 1. I've been working as a park ranger at Wildflower State Park for about 5 years now. It's honestly my dream job. I get to spend every day outdoors, educating visitors about conservation and protecting some of the most beautiful and rare ecosystems in our state. The park is famous for its endangered wildflower populations, including several species that exist nowhere else in the world. That's why we have strict rules about staying on designated trails and absolutely no picking of any plants. Every spring, we get thousands of visitors who come specifically to see the rare mountain lily blooms. These flowers only bloom for about 3 weeks each year, and some of the plants are over 50 years old. We've spent decades working with botanists to help these endangered populations recover. The trail system is carefully designed to let people enjoy the flowers while keeping them safe from human interference. This particular Saturday morning started like any other. I was doing my regular patrol of the main wildflower trail, checking that all the protective barriers were in place and making sure visitors were following the rules. The mountain lilies were at peak bloom, and families were taking photos and enjoying the spectacular display. That's when I saw her. This woman in expensive hiking gear was standing about 20 feet off the designated trail, right in the middle of a protected flower bed. She had her phone out and was posing next to a cluster of rare mountain lilies. I walked over as quickly as I could without startling the wildlife in the area. Ma'am, I need you to step back onto the trail immediately. You're standing in a protected habitat area. Karen, I'm just taking some photos. These flowers are gorgeous. I understand they're beautiful, but this area is off limits to protect endangered plant species. Please return to the marked trail. She looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Karen, endangered? They're just flowers. There are thousands of them everywhere. Actually, these mountain lilies are critically endangered. There are fewer than 500 plants left in the wild, and most of them are right here in this park. Karen, well, they seem to be doing just fine to me. She continued posing for photos, completely ignoring my request to move back to the trail. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step back onto the trail right now. This is a protected area, and you're violating park regulations. Karen, this is ridiculous. I paid the entrance fee just like everyone else. I should be able to go wherever I want. The entrance fee gives you access to designated trails and viewing areas, not to protected habitats. These rules exist to preserve these flowers for future generations. That's when she did something that made my heart stop. She reached down and picked one of the mountain lilies. Karen, see? It's just a flower. Nature belongs to everyone. Ma'am, you just picked an endangered species. That's a federal crime. Karen, don't be so dramatic. It's one little flower. She picked another one. I immediately got on my radio to call for backup. I need you to stop picking those flowers immediately and hand them over. You're destroying endangered plants. Karen, I'm not destroying anything. I'm enjoying nature like I'm supposed to. These will look perfect in my kitchen. Other hikers on the trail were starting to notice the commotion. Some were taking photos of what was happening. Ma'am, those flowers are protected by federal law. Picking them carries serious penalties. Karen, this is America. I have rights. You can't tell me what to do in a public park. My backup arrived, another ranger and a park supervisor. Karen had now picked 5 mountain lilies and was trampling through the flower bed looking for more. Supervisor, ma'am, you need to step out of the protected area immediately and surrender those flowers. Karen, no, I picked these fair and square, finders keepers. She actually started running deeper into the flower bed, crushing rare plants under her hiking boots. Each step was destroying plants that had taken decades to grow. Supervisor, ma'am, you're now facing multiple federal violations. Stop where you are. Karen, nature belongs to everyone. You people are just trying to ruin my vacation. It took 3 of us to finally corner her without causing more damage to the plants. She was screaming about her rights and how we were government thugs the entire time. Karen, this is harassment. I'm going to sue this park. These are just stupid weeds anyway. When the police arrived, she had picked 8 endangered mountain lilies and trampled through an area that contained at least 30 more plants. The damage assessment took hours. Police officer: Ma'am, you're under arrest for violation of the Endangered Species Act and destruction of federal property. Karen: Arrested? Over some flowers? This is insane. Police officer: Each flower you picked carries a potential fine of up to $25,000 and possible jail time. Her face went completely white when she realized the seriousness of what she'd done. Karen: I didn't know they were that important. Can I just put them back? Me: Ma'am, once they're picked, they're dead. Some of those plants you destroyed were older than you are. The court case made local news. Karen ended up with a $40,000 fine and 200 hours of community service doing habitat restoration work. She also had to write a public apology letter that the park posted on their website. 6 months later, I was giving a tour to a school group when one of the kids asked about the protective barriers around the flower beds. Kid: Why can't we get closer to see them better? Me: Well, these flowers are very rare and fragile. We had an incident where someone picked some of them, and it took years for new ones to grow back in their place. Kid: That's terrible. Why would someone do that? Me: Sometimes people don't understand how special these places are. That's why we have rangers here to help protect them. The mountain lily population is slowly recovering from Karen's rampage, but it'll take years to fully repair the damage she caused in just a few minutes. At least now we have her incident as a perfect example of why our rules exist when we do educational programs. Story 2. I've been driving for a rideshare company for about 3 years now. Started doing it part-time to help pay for my college tuition, and honestly, it's been pretty good to me. Sure, you get the occasional drunk person or someone who's a little rude, but mostly people are just trying to get from point A to point B without any drama. I drive the night shift on weekends because that's when the money is best. Friday and Saturday nights, you can make decent cash driving people home from bars or to parties. I've got a clean driving record, 5-star rating, and I keep my car spotless. My Honda Civic isn't fancy, but it gets the job done. Last Saturday night started like any other. I'd already done about 6 rides and was feeling pretty good about my earnings for the evening. Around 11 p.m., I got a pickup request from downtown. The passenger rating showed 4.5 stars, which isn't terrible, but isn't great either. Still, I accepted the ride. I pulled up to this upscale restaurant and saw a woman in her 40s standing outside. She was dressed nicely but looked annoyed about something. She got into my back seat without saying hello. Me: Hi there, I'm your driver tonight. Heading to Maple Street, right? Karen: Just drive. And turn off that music, it's giving me a headache. I turned off my radio and started driving. The destination was about 20 minutes away through some busy parts of town. For the first 10 minutes, she was quiet except for occasional sighs and huffing sounds. Then she started talking. Karen: I really don't feel comfortable with men driving me around. Me: Oh, okay. Well, we're about halfway there now, so we should be at your destination soon. Karen: No, I'm serious. I've read statistics about male drivers. You guys are way more aggressive and take unnecessary risks. I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw her leaning forward in her seat. Me: I understand your concerns, ma'am, but I've been driving for 3 years with no accidents. We'll be there safely. Karen: That doesn't matter. I want to drive the rest of the way myself. I thought she was joking at first. Me: I'm sorry, what? Karen: Pull over and let me drive. I don't trust men behind the wheel, especially at night. Me: Ma'am, I can't let you drive my car. It's against company policy and my insurance wouldn't cover it. Karen: This is ridiculous. I'm a much safer driver than you are. I've been driving for 25 years without a single accident. Me: I'm sure you're a great driver, but I really can't let you take over. We're almost there anyway. That's when she got really upset. Karen: Fine. If you won't pull over, I'll make you pull over." Before I could react, she lunged forward from the back seat and grabbed my steering wheel. We were going about 30 miles per hour on a busy street with cars all around us. Hey, let go of the wheel." I tried to maintain control while she was yanking the steering wheel to the right. The car swerved toward the curb and other drivers started honking their horns. "Karen, just pull over and let me drive." "You're going to get us killed. Let go." I managed to get control back and pulled into a parking lot of a gas station. My hands were shaking from adrenaline. I immediately stopped the car and turned around to face her. "You need to get out of my car right now." "Karen, I'm not getting out until you let me drive." "Ma'am, you just grabbed my steering wheel while I was driving in traffic. That's incredibly dangerous." "Karen, I wouldn't have had to do that if you had just listened to me in the first place." I called the police while she was still ranting in my backseat. I also started recording on my phone because I figured nobody would believe this story otherwise. "I'm calling the police and ending this ride. You need to get out." "Karen, you can't just abandon me here. I paid for this ride." Police arrived about 10 minutes later. The officer talked to both of us separately. When I showed him the recording of her admitting to grabbing the steering wheel, his expression changed completely. "Officer, ma'am, what you did is considered assault and reckless endangerment. You put multiple people's lives at risk." "Karen, he refused to let me drive. I know my rights." "Officer, you have no right to grab someone's steering wheel while they're driving." She ended up getting arrested. As they put her in the police car, she was yelling about how she was going to sue me and the rideshare company for discrimination. The next week, I got a call from the rideshare company. They had reviewed the incident report and the recording. Not only was her account permanently banned, but they also gave me a safety bonus for handling the situation properly. The officer later told me that she already had 2 previous incidents with rideshare drivers for similar behavior. Apparently, this wasn't her first time trying to take over someone else's vehicle. I still drive for the rideshare company, but now I'm much more careful about passengers who seem agitated from the start. That was definitely the scariest ride of my life. Story 3. I've been working as a pharmacy technician for 6 years now, and I thought I dealt with every type of difficult customer. People who don't understand why their insurance won't cover certain medications, elderly patients confused about their dosages, parents panicking about their sick kids. It all comes with the territory. But nothing could have prepared me for the woman who walked into our pharmacy last Thursday evening. I started working here right after getting my certification because I wanted a job where I could actually help people. My mom has diabetes, and I grew up watching her struggle with medication costs and insurance hassles. I figured if I worked in a pharmacy, I could help other families navigate the same challenges. Most of the time, it's rewarding work. People are grateful when you help them save money on their prescriptions or explain how to take their medication properly. It was about 20 minutes before closing time when she came in. The pharmacy was mostly empty except for one elderly gentleman picking up his heart medication and a young mom waiting for her toddler's ear infection drops. I was restocking the over-the-counter pain relievers when I heard raised voices at the pharmacy counter. "Karen, I need antibiotics for my daughter. She's been sick for 3 days and getting worse." "Pharmacist, I understand your concern, ma'am, but I'll need to see a prescription from her doctor." "Karen, I don't have a prescription. I don't need a prescription. I know what she needs, amoxicillin. Just give me a bottle." I looked over and saw a woman in her late 30s with that haircut and an attitude that screamed trouble. The pharmacist, who's been doing this for 20 years, kept his voice calm and professional. "Pharmacist, I'm sorry, but antibiotics are prescription medications. I cannot dispense them without a valid prescription from a licensed physician." "Karen, that's ridiculous. In other countries, you can buy antibiotics over the counter. This is just another way for doctors to make money." "Pharmacist, I understand your frustration, but in the United States, antibiotics require a prescription for safety reasons. Improper use can lead to antibiotic resistance and other serious health issues. Karen, safety reasons? Safety reasons? My daughter has been running a fever for 3 days. She needs antibiotics now. Not after I waste half a day sitting in some doctor's office. The elderly gentleman picking up his medication looked uncomfortable and moved to a different part of the store. The young mom with the toddler was watching nervously. Ma'am, if your daughter has had a fever for 3 days, you really should take her to see a doctor. They can determine if she actually needs antibiotics or if it's a viral infection. Karen, I don't need some 20-something telling me how to take care of my child. I've been a mother for 12 years. I know when my kid needs antibiotics. Pharmacist, I completely understand wanting to help your daughter feel better. But many childhood illnesses are caused by viruses, and antibiotics don't work against viral infections. A doctor can examine her and determine the best treatment. Karen, best treatment. The best treatment is giving me what I'm asking for. My daughter is suffering while you people play these stupid games. Pharmacist, it's not a game, ma'am. It's federal law. I could lose my license and face criminal charges for dispensing prescription medications without a valid prescription. Karen, federal law? Federal law. What about the law that says you're supposed to help sick people? At this point, she was getting loud enough that customers in other parts of the store were starting to look over. My manager was helping someone at the front register, but kept glancing back toward the pharmacy. There are some over-the-counter medications that might help with her symptoms while you arrange to see a doctor. Children's fever reducer, cough suppressants. Karen, I don't want symptom relief. I want antibiotics. I want you to cure my daughter, not mask her symptoms. Pharmacist, ma'am, even if I wanted to help you, which I do, I literally cannot dispense antibiotics without a prescription. The computer system won't allow it, and every bottle is tracked by the state. Karen, then override the computer. Call your manager. Call corporate. Someone in this place has the authority to help a sick child. Pharmacist, no one has that authority. Not me, not my manager, not corporate. Only a licensed physician can prescribe antibiotics. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, so you're telling me that you're just going to let my daughter suffer? You're going to let her get sicker and sicker because of your stupid rules. Pharmacist, I'm telling you to take her to urgent care or the emergency room if you're that concerned. Karen, urgent care. Do you know how much that costs? Do you know how long the wait is? My daughter could die waiting in that emergency room. Pharmacist, if you truly believe your daughter's life is in danger, then the emergency room is exactly where you should be, not here arguing with me. Karen, you people are killing my child on purpose. You're choosing bureaucracy over a little girl's life. You should be ashamed of yourselves. The young mom with the toddler quickly grabbed her prescription and headed for the front of the store. The elderly gentleman had disappeared entirely. Ma'am, please lower your voice. You're scaring other customers. Karen, scaring other customers. I'm trying to save my daughter's life. You're the ones who should be scared of the lawsuit I'm going to file when my daughter ends up in the hospital because you refuse to help her. Pharmacist, ma'am, I need you to calm down, or I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Karen, leave. Leave? I'm not going anywhere until you give me those antibiotics. She slammed her fist on the counter, knocking over a small display of reading glasses. Then she turned and saw the end cap display of cold and flu medications. Karen, you know what? Fine. If you won't help my daughter, then maybe no one else should get help either. Before anyone could react, she grabbed the entire display shelf and shoved it over. Bottles of cough syrup, boxes of tissues, throat lozenges, and fever reducers went flying everywhere. The crash was so loud that everyone in the store came running. Manager, what the hell is going on back here? Karen, these people are refusing to sell me medicine for my sick child. They're letting her suffer for no reason. Manager, ma'am, you need to leave the store immediately, or I'm calling the police. Karen, call the police. Call the whole damn fire department. Someone needs to know how you people treat families with sick children. Pharmacist, she wants antibiotics without a prescription. I explained that it's illegal, but she won't accept that. Manager, ma'am, you've destroyed store property and disturbed other customers. You need to leave now. Karen, I'll leave when you give me what I came for. My daughter is at home getting sicker by the minute while you people hide behind your regulations. Manager, I'm calling the police right now. Karen, good. Maybe they'll have more sense than you people. Maybe they'll understand that a sick child is more important than your stupid rules. While my manager was on the phone with the police, Karen continued her rant, stepping over the scattered merchandise like it wasn't there. Karen, this is exactly what's wrong with this country. Nobody wants to help anyone anymore. It's all about covering your own butt instead of doing what's right. Pharmacist, ma'am, what's right is making sure medications are prescribed safely by qualified professionals. Karen, qualified professionals. My daughter's pediatrician is booked until next week. The urgent care has a 4-hour wait. What am I supposed to do? Just watch her suffer? Me, you could try calling the doctor's after-hours line. Most pediatricians have emergency protocols for sick children. Karen, I shouldn't have to jump through hoops when the solution is right there on your shelf. When the police arrived 5 minutes later, Karen was still going strong. The officers were surprisingly patient with her. Police officer, ma'am, we need you to calm down and explain what happened. Karen, these people are refusing to sell me medicine for my sick daughter. They're more concerned about their policies than helping a child. Police officer, what kind of medicine are you trying to buy? Karen, antibiotics. She has a fever, and she's been sick for days. Police officer, do you have a prescription? Karen, no, but I shouldn't need one. It's just antibiotics. The officer looked at the pharmacist, who nodded. Police officer, ma'am, antibiotics are prescription medications. The pharmacy can't sell them without a prescription. That's federal law. Karen, so you're taking their side too. What is wrong with everyone? Police officer, I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm explaining the law. If your daughter is sick, you need to take her to see a doctor. Karen, fine. But when she ends up in the hospital because nobody would help her, I'm suing all of you. The officers escorted her out while she continued complaining about how the system was failing sick children. After she left, it took us 30 minutes to clean up all the merchandise she'd knocked over, and we had to throw away several bottles of cough syrup that had broken. My manager shook his head as we swept up the last of the glass. Manager, 23 years I've been doing this, and people still think we're just being difficult when we ask for prescriptions. Pharmacist, the scary part is that she genuinely believes she was in the right. She thinks we were the villains for following the law. 2 days later, we heard through the grapevine that she tried the same thing at 3 other pharmacies in town before finally taking her daughter to urgent care. Turns out the kid had a viral infection and just needed rest and fluids. No antibiotics required. Some people just refuse to accept that they don't know everything. Story 4. I've been teaching advanced organic chemistry at the university for 12 years now. It's a challenging course that serves as a gateway for pre-med students, so I maintain high academic standards. My policy has always been clear: grades are earned through hard work, attendance, and mastering the material. I don't curve grades or give participation trophies. Students either understand molecular structures and reaction mechanisms, or they don't. This semester, I had about 200 students in my Tuesday morning lecture. Most were dedicated pre-med students who understood that organic chemistry would make or break their medical school dreams. The course has a reputation for being tough, but fair. I always offer office hours, study sessions, and extra credit opportunities for students who are struggling. One student in particular had been having problems all semester. She rarely attended lectures, turned in assignments late, and clearly wasn't putting in the study time required for such a demanding subject. Her midterm exam score was a 58%, which translated to a failing grade. I had sent her multiple emails encouraging her to come to office hours or seek tutoring, but she never responded. That Tuesday morning, I was about 40 minutes into my lecture on complex molecular synthesis when the lecture hall doors burst open with a loud bang that echoed through the entire room. Every student turned to look as this woman in expensive clothes and oversized sunglasses stormed down the center aisle toward the podium. I immediately recognized her from the photos on her daughter's social media. This was clearly a parent, though I had no idea why she was interrupting my class. Ma'am, I'm in the middle of a lecture. If you need to speak with me, please wait until after class or make an appointment. Karen, I'm not waiting for anything. I need to talk to you right now about my daughter's grade. The entire lecture hall went dead silent. 200 students were staring at this woman who had just barged into their class. I could see her daughter in the third row, her face bright red with embarrassment. This is highly inappropriate. We can discuss grades during my office hours. Please leave the classroom. Karen, don't tell me what's appropriate. You gave my daughter a failing grade, and I want to know why. Student grades are confidential and cannot be discussed in public. Please step outside. Karen, confidential? She's my daughter. I pay for her tuition, so I have every right to know what's going on. Several students had their phones out, clearly recording this bizarre confrontation. I could see campus security had been called and was making their way toward the lecture hall. Ma'am, your daughter is an adult. Under federal law, I cannot discuss her academic performance with anyone but her. Karen, that's ridiculous. She's failing because you're not teaching properly. How is she supposed to learn this impossible material? Your daughter has missed over half of the lectures this semester and hasn't turned in most of her assignments. Her performance is entirely based on her own choices. Karen, that's because your class is too hard. You're deliberately failing students to make yourself look smart. At this point, she was screaming loud enough that other classes in the building could probably hear her. My students looked shocked. Most had never seen an adult behave this way. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave immediately, or I'll have security escort you out. Karen, security, for asking about my daughter's education. This is discrimination. That's when she completely lost control. She marched up to the podium where I keep my lecture notes and teaching materials. Karen, if you won't explain these impossible grades, then maybe you shouldn't be teaching at all. She grabbed my carefully prepared lecture notes and threw them off the podium. Papers scattered everywhere across the floor. Then she swept her arm across the podium, knocking off my laptop, markers, and other teaching materials. The crash was so loud that students in the back rows jumped. Her daughter buried her face in her hands, clearly mortified. That's enough. Security. Karen, your teaching methods are destroying my daughter's future. She's supposed to be a doctor. Security arrived just as she was reaching for my laptop again. 2 officers immediately moved to restrain her. Security, ma'am, you need to leave the premises immediately. Karen, get your hands off me. I'm a taxpayer. I have every right to be here. Security, you're disrupting a class and destroying property. You're trespassing. Karen, this professor is ruining my daughter's life. Someone needs to do something. As they escorted her out, she continued screaming about unfair grading and how the university was stealing her money. The entire incident had taken about 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour. After she left, the lecture hall was completely silent. I looked out at 200 stunned faces. Well, that was certainly not in today's lesson plan. A few students actually laughed, which helped break the tension. Her daughter approached me after class, clearly embarrassed. Daughter, Professor, I am so sorry about my mother. I had no idea she was coming here. This isn't your fault, but we do need to talk about your performance in the class. Daughter, I know I've been struggling. I guess I thought my mom could somehow fix it for me. Your grades reflect your effort and understanding of the material. No parent can change that. But if you're willing to put in the work, I'm here to help. 2 days later, I received a formal complaint from Karen demanding I be fired for discriminatory grading practices. The department head reviewed all my grading records and teaching evaluations, then dismissed her complaint entirely. The daughter ended up dropping the course and retaking it the following semester. This time, she attended every lecture, came to office hours regularly, and earned a solid B. She learned that success in college requires personal responsibility, not parental intervention. The video of Karen's meltdown went viral on campus social media. Students started calling any parental overreach a Karen moment, and it became a running joke about the importance of academic independence. Story 5. I've been a fitness instructor at Peak Performance Gym for about 4 years now. I teach everything from beginner yoga to high-intensity interval training. It's honestly my dream job. I love helping people reach their fitness goals and seeing them gain confidence in themselves. I started working here right after I got my personal training certification. The gym has a great community feel, and most of our members are really supportive of each other. We get people of all fitness levels, from complete beginners to serious athletes, and everyone usually respects the space and each other. Last Thursday was supposed to be a normal day. I had my regular morning yoga class followed by an afternoon strength training session. I'd been preparing a new routine for my evening cardio class and was excited to try it out with the group. Around 2 in the afternoon, I was setting up equipment for my strength class when this woman walked up to me. She was wearing brand new workout gear that still had creases from the packaging and expensive-looking athletic shoes that clearly had never seen a gym before. "Karen, excuse me, are you one of the trainers here?" "Me, yes, I'm an instructor. I teach group classes and also do personal training sessions." "Karen, perfect. I need you to train me personally, right now." "Me? Oh, well, personal training sessions need to be scheduled in advance. I can help you set up an appointment, or you're welcome to join one of my group classes." "Karen, no, you don't understand. I don't want to work out with all these other people. They're not on my level." I looked around the gym. We had people of all ages and fitness levels working out, including some seriously dedicated athletes. "Me, what exactly do you mean by that?" "Karen, look, I can tell just by looking at you that you're actually competent. Most of these trainers are just muscle-bound idiots who don't know anything about real fitness. I'm probably the only member here who's worth your time." "Me, I appreciate the confidence, but I treat all my clients equally. If you'd like personal training, you can book a session at the front desk." "Karen, this is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to pay extra just because these other people are wasting your talents." She walked away in a huff, and I figured that was the end of it. I continued setting up for my class, which was starting in about 10 minutes. My strength training class usually has around 15 people. It's a good mix of regulars and newcomers, and everyone knows the routine pretty well. We were about 20 minutes into the session when she appeared again. I was demonstrating proper form for deadlifts when she just walked right into the middle of our circle. "Karen, okay everyone, stop what you're doing. You're all doing this completely wrong." The class looked confused and turned to me for guidance. "Me, ma'am, I'm in the middle of teaching a class right now. If you'd like to join, you're welcome to grab some weights and follow along." "Karen, no, you clearly don't know what you're doing either. Everyone, put down those weights. We're going to do some real exercises now." She actually started demonstrating what she thought was proper form, which was completely wrong and potentially dangerous. "Karen, see? This is how you really build muscle. None of this amateur stuff." One of my regular students, an older gentleman who'd been coming to my classes for 2 years, spoke up. "Student, ma'am, we're following our instructor's program. If you want to do your own workout, there's plenty of space in the gym." "Karen, don't talk back to me. I know more about fitness than everyone in this room combined, including her." She pointed at me and then started yelling at the entire class. "Karen, you people are all wasting your time and money. Follow my lead if you actually want results." "Me, that's enough. You need to leave this class immediately. Karen, I'm not going anywhere. These people deserve proper instruction. She started doing jumping jacks in the middle of our formation and screaming at people to copy her movements. Some of my students looked scared. Others were getting angry. Me, I'm calling gym management right now. I walked over to the emergency phone while she continued her bizarre demonstration. Within 3 minutes, the gym manager and 2 staff members arrived. Manager, ma'am, you're disrupting a scheduled class. I need you to come with me. Karen, finally, someone with authority. I want this so-called instructor fired immediately. She has no idea what she's doing. Manager, actually, I'm here because you're causing a disturbance. You need to leave the premises. Karen, what? I'm the only person in this entire gym who knows anything about real fitness. The manager ended up escorting her out, while she screamed about how everyone was too stupid to recognize her expertise. She threatened to leave bad reviews and get the gym shut down for having incompetent staff. After she left, my class was pretty shaken up. We spent the rest of the session talking about what had happened, and several students shared their own stories about dealing with entitled people. The next day, I found out she had actually signed up for a membership just that morning. She lasted exactly 4 hours before getting permanently banned. The front desk staff told me she had also demanded free personal training sessions as part of her membership and threw a tantrum when they explained the pricing structure. My students still joke about that day sometimes. One of them even bought me a shirt that says "Real Fitness Expert" as a gag gift. It's hanging in my office now as a reminder that even the craziest gym experiences can bring people together.